Zapraszam Was dzisiaj na moją rozmowę z youtuberką, coachem zdrowia, z Lily Kane, która opowie nam o swojej diecie, dlaczego ją zaczęła, jak długo tak je, co je i jakie przyniosło to efekty. Zapraszam Was serdecznie. Możesz nam opowiedzieć swoją historię, jak trafiłaś na dietę karniwora?
I grew up in San Diego, California on a very low income. My parents were both alcoholics and addicted to drugs. And so we just had a lot of macaroni and cheese boxes, top ramen, lots of processed foods, and very little food as well. But then I ended up moving to college, and in college, you get to have the all-you-can-eat buffet. So I was eating everything, and I gained the freshman 15 my first year. And then by the time I finished college, I had gained 20 pounds, but I was a track and field athlete. So I ran track and field and did hurdles for 8 years total, including 4 years of college. After I graduated, I still thought, I'm a lean person. I can still get away with eating whatever I want. I'm a young person. I'm invincible. Not so much. So I continued eating a donut a day and pizzas and chips and Oreos. And I had different mood swings where I was skipping a cycle. I wasn't having my menstrual cycle I was having these highs and lows of energy, lots of joint pain. And eventually I ended up meeting my fiance, and he had already eaten a all fruitarian diet. Then from fruitarian, he went into a vegan diet because the fruitarian diet didn't work for him. So he thought, maybe I need to add vegetables, so I'll do vegan diet. So he did that for years. It just kept deteriorating his health. So then he moved into a vegetarian diet, still didn't find health. So then he moved into keto, and that's where he found the most healing with his gut, because he was experiencing things like ulcerative colitis, leaky gut, irritable bowel syndrome, skin inflammation, all sorts of skin issues, digestive issues. So he had found through eating a plant-based diet, which he had heard is the most healthy diet you can do. It's the way to longevity. He had found his health actually get worse by doing that. And that's when I found him. So he was eating keto, and I had thought, okay, so that just means we're not having bread this week. We're not having pasta this month. And because we grocery shop together, we cook together, we clean together. Of course, he never said, Lily, stop bringing cookie dough to my house, because he wasn't going to eat it, but I would bring the dessert for myself. So he would always say, yeah, you want to go and get a donut? I'll drive with you and I'll watch you, eat it. And it's just not as fun eating sugar by yourself. So eventually I just started asking him more questions and saying, why are you eating those vegetables but not these ones? Oh, because I read Dr. Gundry's The Plant Paradox book, and I learned about lectins. And then it just slowly turned into that from me meeting my fiance, who through his experiences just found that keto was the most healing for his gut. But then slowly, even still, he found that certain vegetables were causing him irritation. So slowly he was removing vegetables. I was like, well, why do I keep making cauliflower? Why do I have to keep eating the broccoli? So eventually I just slowly started eliminating more, which kind of led to this animal-based diet. And then through that, I found a lot of healing.
Super, a co dokładnie jesz i jak długo jesteś na tej diecie?
So I started eating a low-carb diet almost 4 years ago, but then it turned into keto slowly. So it was never something I put on my calendar that today's the day I'm starting, or I'm doing this for weight loss, or I'm doing this to heal autoimmune. I was just slowly eliminating certain foods as time went on. So I've been eating an animal-based diet for over 2 years. And then some people say, some days I eat only meat, so it's more carnivore. Other days I'll have a piece of something else, or some seasonings, or a little something here or there. But for the most part, it's just a very meat-heavy diet for the last 2 years.
Czy nadal masz jakieś zachcianki i czy jest coś, z czego trudno ci było zrezygnować?
So I was never a coffee drinker, so I have a hard time relating to those people who need their caffeine. But I found, something I admired about my fiance when I had met him is I was somebody who really liked sugar, just like everybody else. I thought it was normal. You have dessert after dinner. And so we would walk around the grocery stores, and I would make it with success. I didn't get any chips. I didn't get any cookies. I didn't buy any ice cream. And I would be so proud of myself. And then we'd get to the checkout aisle, and when you check out, there's all the candy bars, the Reese's peanut butter cups, almond joy. And I asked him one day, I said, do you ever want to just have one of these? And he goes, I don't even see that they're there. And I was like, wow, that's a goal. I want to be able to not even notice these things. And now I am definitely at that point. So when I did my first month of no sugar, I thought I was a superhero. I thought I just conquered the impossible. And so I actually don't have any cravings or sugar cravings. I don't have like, it was not that hard for me because
Nawet na początku nigdy nie miałaś zachcianek?
Not really, because I slowly transitioned. I never even heard of a carnivore diet. When I started doing this, I thought I was eating keto. It was just a very gradual process where I was like, okay, this week I'm going to eliminate bread. Next month, I'm going to eliminate pasta. So it took me about 6 months to transition. Most people, they just do it in a week or two.
I co dokładnie teraz jesz?
So, well, right now I'm actually doing a strict carnivore experiment, but I'm only doing it for 60 days. So that like no coffee, no tea, no seasonings, no condiments. Because sometimes when people hear the word carnivore, when I first started my YouTube channel, I said that I ate a carnivore diet, and I would put some garlic powder on my meat, or I would put some, you know, I'd have just little small things where certain people who eat a strict carnivore diet were like, garlic powder doesn't come from an animal, so that's not carnivore. And it just got really confusing for certain people trying to learn about carnivore when they would see me eat some blueberries, and then they'd say, wait a second, so that's carnivore? So eventually I just stopped saying the word, and I started using this new word that I had heard Dr. Ken Berry, Dr. Sarah Zalbadar, and others say, which is the word hypercarnivore, which is an animal whose diet is 70% or more animal foods. So I felt that worked better for me, because then I could have the flexibility of, okay, I want to have some lemon water, okay.
Pozwalasz sobie czasem na odstępstwa, na przykład na Boże Narodzenie czy Święto Dziękczynienia?
So I'll be finishing this strict carnivore diet maybe in like 2 weeks, and then I will be going back to my hyper carnivore diet, which just gives me the flexibility of, again, having a little thing here and there. So for me, it's never a cheat of, okay, I'm going to eat tubs of ice cream, because I would just, for me, it's always a choice. So for example, when the Christmas season comes around, we'll go out with our friends to dinner. And I know that we'll end up ordering like a glass of wine. So we don't usually drink, but the one time of year we will have like a glass of wine, or maybe one time a year, you know, there maybe be mashed potatoes or something on the plate. So to me, it's not like a cheat in the way that most people think, like I need to have pizza with the ranch dressing poured on top of that, or whatever. Yeah. But for me, it's like I still eat whole foods. It's just, but it's never a cheat. It's just a choice.
Tak, znam Twoje podejście i Twoją filozofię i bardzo mi się ona podoba. Co byś poradziła osobom z chorobami autoimmunologicznymi, które boją się jeść mięso, bo wszędzie słyszą, że mięso jest niezdrowe i trzeba jeść więcej roślin?
So my advice would be to, I don't think that people make or break their health in 30 days. So for example, if I wanted to eat a vegan diet for 30 days, I don't think that means I'm going to now die 5 years earlier. I don't think it works like that. So if someone said, okay, I'm just going to try having, it doesn't have to be a whole carnivore diet. It could be animal-based, it could be keto, whatever they want to try, just try it for 30 days and see how that goes. And if you absolutely hate it and it doesn't work for you, okay, great. Then you don't have to keep Googling answers or trying to find help through a meat diet, because you tried it yourself. Sometimes it does take a little bit more time for the body to adapt and adjust, especially because our gut is going through such a rapid shift when we're switching and making those big changes. But I personally don't trust anybody on the internet, so I don't think you should listen to me either. I think that you should just give it a shot for yourself and then make your own assessment, because I mean, my aunt eats a vegan diet and she still loves it. So I'm not here to convince her to not eat one. If she ever wants to ask more questions, of course, then I'll.
Kto jest Twoją największą inspiracją na diecie karniwora? Masz jakiegoś guru?
Ironically, I don't watch too much carnivore content because I make it. So it's just like
tak, ale rozmawiasz z ludźmi, którzy są ekspertami od diety karniwora i ją promują, prawda?
I would say the person who was most, I felt genuine and unbiased, was a woman named Mary Ruddick. She's actually one of like the GAPS diet, if you've ever heard of the GAPS diet, but she basically uses 40 different diets to heal people's autoimmune conditions and their gut. And so she wants to, you know, make it a lifestyle where people are actually going to stay to it. So I think oftentimes when we go to the extremes of certain diets that we know we aren't going to fit in socially, our friends, our family, the dinner conversations, going out to restaurants, traveling, Sometimes we try to make it so extreme where if we can find a little more balance, which I know is not the shock value kind of videos. Like I've made videos before where it says, I only eat meat and butter, and those ones do really well. If I say how I find balance in my diet, those videos don't do well. So I think people don't actually like balance. I think people just like to be extreme. But that's really doesn't last very long. It's not as sustainable to be as extreme. So I think Mary Ruddick seems to find the ability of making sustainable diets that actually heal people's guts.
I to już ostatnie pytanie. Gdybyś miała zacząć tę dietę jeszcze raz, co byś zmieniła, jeśli cokolwiek?
When I first started, so for me, this isn't like a diet, right? This is my lifestyle. This is just what I eat. I just choose to eat real whole foods that come from, you know, not processed in a box, in a bag, in a package, just real foods. And I feel like if there was something that I could have done differently, it would have been just not labeling it on social media, which is really hard because people want to find a community and they want to find people that they can connect with. But it does make it challenging because I don't think that everybody needs to eat exactly like me. And so it can get challenging when I want to talk about things that are like a little bit not what I actually do, but are more realistic for other people.
Lili, bardzo dziękuję za rozmowę. To była wielka przyjemność gościć Cię na moim kanale.
Thank you. This was so fun.
Lili jest niesamowicie pozytywną, wesołą i bardzo mądrą dziewczyną. Prowadzi na YouTube kanał, gdzie zaprasza wielu ekspertów i lekarzy i rozmawia na temat zdrowia, diety karniwora, dzieli się też swoimi doświadczeniami i serdecznie Wam polecam kanał Lili i jej konto na Instagramie. Dziękuję Wam na dzisiaj serdecznie. Dajcie znać paluchami, czy jesteście zainteresowani właśnie takimi rozmowami, żeby więcej gości tutaj było i żeby się dzielili swoim doświadczeniem, a jeżeli ktoś w ogóle ma też ochotę się podzielić swoim i ma tego typu doświadczenia i chciałby opowiedzieć na kanale, to serdecznie zapraszam. Dziękuję Wam i życzę pięknego dnia. Trzymajcie się ciepło. Pa!